I'm kind of afraid to do this review. Brad Bird fans, I'm sorry. Tomorrowland is a futuristic drama about two people with a shared destiny. Frank Walker, played by George Clooney, is a former boy genius who's basically been disillusioned and is very cynical. On the flip side, you have Casey Newton, played by Britt Robertson, who is the ever-optimistic and just as bright, if not more so, than Clooney's character. They are brought together by Athena, played by Rafe Cassidy. When they first meet her, they don't know what to think of her. She's slightly futuristic, but oh so darling. And they just bring her into this story where they now have to save the world. And with a synopsis like that, you're like, hey, this looks totally original and awesome. Let's go see it. And really, it's totally original, and it is really quite good. The scenery is amazing. Obviously, it takes after Tomorrowland of Disney, and so you have a lot of like cast and crew member costumes in it, and you're like, hey, I might as well be at Disneyland. Awesome. One of your favorite parts is going to be toward the beginning when they go to the 1964 World's Fair. For those of you who don't know, that is actually where It's a Small World actually was debuted. And so you got that whole history tied into it. And you're like, as a Disney buff, I was like, yes. So excited about this. Now, for those of you who are like hardcore Brad Bird fans, you're gonna love it because it's gonna be like, hey, it's Brad Bird. And there's a whole bunch of Brad Bird Easter eggs in there too, like a Mr. Incredibles little like trinket. You also have stuff from the Iron Giant. And even though he's not connected to it in any way, there's a heck of a lot of Star Wars going on. Thank you, Disney, for cross promotion. As far as the acting goes, I kind of felt like George Clooney wasn't the right man for this job. Most of the talking that he did as far as voiceover type, it just didn't have a lot of heart to it. And so it was kind of didactic a little bit. Britt Robertson did a good job. I enjoyed her. But the one who outdid all of them was Rafe Cassidy, who played Athena. Man, she is adorable. Not just adorable, she's enchanting. And you look at her and you're like, I really like her. Tim McGraw is in this. He did good. And when they finally do go to Tomorrowland, which is pretty early on, you're just like, yes, this looks amazing. The scenery is fantastic and really makes you wonder, like, how closely do Disney Imagineers work with like the directors of this film to kind of create this world so that they can, later on go and recreate it at Disneyland, Disney World. Those types of things just go through my head. The visuals were just fantastic, really well done. See, I'm talking about this and you're all like, what's not to like, Chelsea? And that's the problem, is I don't know. As the story went along, I just felt like the entire thing was exposition. There really was no climax, at least the climax that I was wanting. It was hard for me to really get to the point where I was like, yes, I am completely invested and I want this to happen. Like I said, it was anticlimactic. There really wasn't much that I felt like this movie was really basing itself on. The motives weren't really that strong at all. And even, there's one point where they start doing a monologue and you got me monologuing. And you're just like, that's your motive? Really? Like this whole plot is based on that? Man, that was where I wasn't able to really jump on board. It was a good ending, and you're gonna leave just like, well, that was nice. Okay. But it wasn't something that was like, knock your socks off. I totally get it, and I am right in with it. I guess that's where I'm coming from. And I don't, those Brad Bird fans are gonna be like, oh, Chelsea, you just don't get it. And maybe that's true. Yeah. We'll go with that, sure. I can't give this more than like 3.5 stars. Even then, I was like 3.5. So I'm going to go with like 3.25. You're going to enjoy it if you go, but it's not going to be like that knock your socks off type of a movie. You guys know me. I want to be excited about basically everything, especially if it has any type of tie to Disney animation or, all of the above. But this just wasn't something I was able to like put my whole heart into. Other than that, thank you so much for joining me today. One last thing, we are going to be starting a Patreon for you guys to get more involved with animation, with the show, and with all of us, the Rotoscopers, Mason, Morgan, and myself. So definitely check out the video, as I'm going to be posting it right here. It's a really good one. I spent a lot of time editing, so you should totally just watch it just for fun. Until next time, my name is Chelsea, and you are watching the Rotoscopers YouTube.